that either as an intern or you just hang around the station and you didn't get paid. I guess the key thing I'm trying to say here is if your dream is radio, then don't give up on it because you can't get a job right away. Figure out a way to work your way into it. In my case, it was through college radio, and going that way. So that, I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges is getting into the actual business. And I think it's much harder today than it was in my day, because back in my day, most people they had live DJs and live announcers on the radio stations. Mm-hmm. Now, so much of it is done by voice tracking, where one person sitting in Omaha, Nebraska, in an hour's time can record all of the tracks for a 3-hour radio show on 5 different radio stations around the country. So, unfortunately, the opportunities aren't as great as they used to be.
Yeah. It was a much simpler time back then, I can imagine.
Well, it still wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But I think there were more opportunities. Today, radio has, sadly, because of satellite radio and streaming on the internet and things like that, a lot of younger people today won't listen to radio because they won't tolerate the commercials. Or many of them don't even know what AM radio is. They might know what FM is, but it's a different world out there. And the broadcast companies, this is the other, and I don't mean to be negative here, but back in the day when I started out and through most of my career, mm-hmm. there were a lot of broadcast companies. Well, in 1997, the Telecommunications Act was passed, which allowed companies to own as many radio stations as they wanted. So these large companies went out and started buying up radio stations left and right that they couldn't afford to pay for. And so they had to take out loans. Well, banks like to get their money back. And so what happened was, in many cases, the accounting and finance department became the rulers of the radio stations instead of the programming department. And so all they cared about was making money any way they could. And so in that case, that's how they would go through. And that, most radio stations, it used to be required that you did so many newscasts a day. Mm-hmm. Well, the FCC no longer requires that you do news at all on your radio station. So, there went a lot of jobs. So it's, radio has just changed, and because of that, it's ruled more by the people in the finance department, the accounting department, than it is by programmers who are trying to create an appealing radio program for their listeners. And I don't know where do your shows air, Trey?
I have a website where it airs on, and I stream it. It goes on YouTube, Facebook. I have a whole bunch of websites, and I have friends that share it on their websites and radio programs, so it streams all over.
See, now that's great. I mean, we didn't have that option back when I was starting out in the business, so look at what's available out there today. I mean, anybody can set up a studio in their house with with not having to spend a fortune and turn out as good a quality product as a major studio could do. So you're lucky to have that, and I think that's one of the benefits of today. And in many cases, in some cases that may lead to something bigger that makes more money. And again, if you increase your listenership, the more listeners you can bring to an advertiser, then you can start making some money from that. Or in some cases, you may be able to get listeners subscribed sponsorships to who give you so much every month or every week or something like that to help support your efforts.
Yeah. It's wonderful with all the technology these days you can do. It really is.
Oh, I produce 5 network radio shows a week. And today, everything is in my MacBook Pro. Okay? So if I've got to go to New York for a weekend for a meeting, and I live near Boston now, I can hop on the train, which has Wi-Fi, and I can load the raw programs that I need to edit and edit them down, insert the commercials, time them down to network radio shows have to be accurate within 1/100th of a second. So there's a tool that I have in my MacBook Pro that will allow me to do that. And then I can post them all to the FTP sites of the different radio networks that carry them. And, 5 years ago, you couldn't have done that. And so it's like everything I've got is right there on my laptop. I save everything to a cloud and a backup drive. But, it's all right there. And it's, again, I've done, produced those 5 network radio shows flying coast to coast on an airplane at 30,000 feet. And, with the Wi-Fi they have in the airplanes, I could upload them right to the radio networks right from the airplane. And it's just amazing what you can do today. I mean, who knows what the next 5 years will bring.
Yeah. Yeah, technology seems to be growing each year. Yeah.
That's for sure. And you're obviously taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. My next question is, do you have any other pieces of advice for people who want to get started in radio or radio and voice management?
Well, I would say number one thing is never take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Enjoy life and realize that in many cases there isn't one right answer. There are many right answers. And so be open to hear other voices and try not to burn bridges along the way, because someday that person that you were mean to or said an ill word to might be your boss.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful of that sort of thing. And what else would I say? Learn to play golf is good. Because a lot of the heads of broadcast companies like to play golf, and it's a good time to bond and be together. The other thing, too, is, try to networking. Networking is key. The more people you can meet in the business, I mean, if you get a chance to go to a trade show, like a week from Sunday, I will be flying out to Las Vegas to go to the National Association of Broadcasters convention, which happens in Las Vegas the week of April 8th. And there will be 110,000 people there. Guess what?
What?
110,000 opportunities to meet people who may be able to help you somewhere along the way, either as an employer or someone you can help. And it's always important to remember who helped you, and that you didn't get where you are by yourself. People had to believe in you, take an interest in you, and help you along the way. So I think those are key things. Networking is just essential, and I'm one of those people who believes that you never meet anyone by accident. It was somewhere in the universe you were going to meet this person for a reason. And I can tell you there have been hundreds of times that's happened with me. Just, it seemed like an accident. I've met someone, and either I was able to help them or they were able to help me down the road, or we became wonderful friends. And so networking is so critical. And remaining humble and trying to give back to the industry, and again, help other people out whenever you can.
Yeah. And don't give up. If you enjoy it and you have the passion for it, don't give up, Keep doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are so many dreams that I've had that I originally thought, that can't happen. But yet I kept believing it. And you'd be surprised at how many of them do come true. I mean, you have to believe in yourself. Every morning, here's something that I tell people to do. Every morning when you get up, another piece of advice from the Bob K. file of useless information. Every morning when you roll out of bed, go to the mirror and take a look at yourself and say, you know what? I like you. I love you. You are everything that I can possibly be. And today, I'm going to use your abilities and your gifts to make this a better day. And, believing in yourself and loving yourself, sorry to get spiritual on you here, but, if you don't believe in yourself, then nobody else is going to believe in you.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
And when you go to one of these meetings, and I was talking to someone today who's going to a conference today in Burbank, California, and she said, she asked me this question. She said, well, do you think I should wear a suit, or do you think I should wear tight skin-fitting jeans? Do you think I should do this? Do you think I should do that? And I said, there's only one thing you should do. You should put on something that makes you feel good about yourself. And if you look in the mirror when you've got that attire on, and you say, yeah, I feel really good about myself, then it will boost your self-esteem. It will make you come off as more attractive to other people because you feel good about yourself. And so much of this in anything, not just broadcasting, is your own attitude and how you feel and how you approach each and every day. Another thing I would advise, and I put this on my Facebook page the other day, you may have seen it since you found me on Facebook. Mm-hmm. My Monday thought for last week was, let me read it to you exactly. Okay, I'll give you the exact quote. I've got it here. Give me just a second. Stand by while we have this little pause while Bob searches. Okay. Here's this thing that I posted. Okay. And it says, a positive mind finds opportunity in everything, while the negative mind finds faults in everything. Stay positive. And by finding faults, that can mean finding reasons why I can't do this. You can do it if you really want to, and you don't give up. And are you going to fail along the way and hit some roadblocks? Absolutely. But every time you fail, you're going to learn from that failure how to make yourself and how to do something that you're trying to do better the next time.
Yeah. Failure can be a wonderful thing because you learn from it.
Absolutely. And if you don't, then it was a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Bob, it's been a thrill talking to you and learning about your career, and thank you for sharing your advice to me and my viewers, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm honored that you'd have me on, Trey, and best of luck to you in the future, and just because of the fact that you're out there doing it, and you're pushing, and you're taking chances, I know you're going to succeed.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And that was Mr. Bob K. of Bob K Sound. Thank you very much for listening, and join us tomorrow for the Trails Radio Show when I interview voice actor Mr. Doug Herman. Now, today I have another program, the new show, Autism to Artism, A View of Creativity. The first episode of that show will be at 2 o'clock, so in an hour I'll have that show. So be sure to tune in to my other show and listen to that episode today. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you.